Hey Forza heads, so I'm going to try this challenge in the M308 to try and get the stock time around the Nürburgring, which is of 8 minutes and 5 seconds, whilst in traffic on a steering wheel on the Logitech G920, and I'm also going to try and go through the tuning guide in 8 minutes at the same time. So I'm using Logitech G920. These settings are going to give you the most confidence to be able to drive the car like you stole it and have a really good time in the steering wheel and stop it from being a closed horse and turn it into a sim racing beast that it actually can be. So I'm just using the challenge seat, the play seat challenge with, like I say, Logitech G920. These are my settings. So steering axis dead zone on 1 and 100. So that just means that the input from you at the middle of the steering wheel is going to be your input, and any input made from a slight bump over a curb or anything like that isn't going to take hold of your steering wheel. So all your inputs are going to be your own. Acceleration dead zone inside and outside are going to be 0 and 95s. This just means you get a slightly quicker response from your throttle that you get used to, and it means that you don't have to push the throttle all the way to the back to get 100% throttle. Deceleration dead zone, this is quite crucial for having the Logitech and things, because I find on most racing games online you end up braking like you're treading on the floor and you go through the sweet spot of the pedal, and you're just treading far too hard on it. So having it on 0 and 50 means that the travel actually stops when it gets to the hard point of the pedal, so it gives you a lot more modulation over control of the brakes. If you're going to try these settings, please try all of these settings. Don't adjust to 1 or 2 and keep them with your settings. Try all of these settings first, take a picture of your settings, and if you don't like the way this feels, you can always go back to yours. But if you do like the way this feels and this video has helped you out, give me a thumbs up, please give us a like, and I hope you enjoy the lap. And if you missed the lap, then come back and watch it again for the lap, because it really is a good one. So yeah, that is braking. So keep it on 50%, and that means the modulation of the brakes is a lot better than when it's on 0 and 100 and you have to tread through the floor. So clutch is 0 and 95. You don't need the clutch when using the race gearbox, but still have it on in the settings. Handbrake dead zone is 0 and 100. So this is where we get to the sweet bit of the settings, as it were. So vibration scale. So with this is just vibration. This just mimics, again, kind of like road feel in a sense, make you feel like you're on tarmac and stuff like that. So you get a bit of extra vibration from the steering wheel when you're going over rough tarmac rather than smooth tarmac, and in a sense to grass and that. But generally the vibration is just vibration. It doesn't give you anything else. There's no positive effects to having it other than a little bit of feel, which you get from other aspects of the tune as well. So keep that down to 20, even lower if you're doing longer races, because again, it's just one of them things that increases the speed in which your hands might go numb. If you're older like me and work with your hands for a long time, then your hands are obviously can go a bit numb when you're using vibrating machinery and things like that. So vibration to a low is probably better than not. So keep that on 20. Force feedback. So this is just the resistance of the steering wheel. So this is literally when you turn, how much resistance you feel. People like to feel a lot of resistance, hence they sell 20 Newton steering wheels that can snap your wrist, but you don't really need it. The settings can change the resistance of the steering wheel, and they give you a lot more feedback for other elements of the car, rather than force feedback just gives you resistance and can actually end up causing wheel oscillation in the middle, and can mask all the other settings that you're trying to feel whilst driving with your steering wheel with confidence. So like I say, if you're going to try these settings, try all of these settings as one, and then use my information to dial them in for your own effect, and let me know what they're like on other steering wheels as well. So yeah, let me know in the comments. So steering self-alignments, this just mimics in the way in which the tyres always want to go with the direction of travel of the road. So the only thing driving the tyres without your input is the forces pushing the car forward and the grip between the roads. So they will always want to go straight with the road. So when you start losing grip, you want to be able to feel when them tyres straighten up again. So this is all about giving you the feel of the wheels wanting to self-align. That's what wheels want to do. When you get a moment in a car, wheels do want to self-align with the tarmac. So this is on 130, feels the best. I've been through this 3 or 4 times making this setting, and I've given it to people to try, get a lot of positive feedback. So yeah, I'm hoping you're going to love it too. Like I say, let me know in the comments. So mechanical trail scale. So this basically is kind of like your geometry in the setting, and this basically almost like puts more of the load transfer through your lower arms and things like that, and drop links and roll bars, as opposed to the springs, by raising the geometry of the vehicle. So this also in turn can give you a smoothness of steering, but it hides tyre feel, and tyre feel is crucial to getting the most out of your steering wheel, because you want to feel when the tyres lose grip and when they come back to grip, and these settings all do individual parts to help you feel and know what you're doing with the tyres and the load of the car as you're going through like tracks like the Nürburgring. So the real life time is 8:05. We give ourselves 8:05. If you look at the beginning of this when we cross the line, the countdown timer is on 8:06 I think, or 8:07. So we haven't got a lot of time. We're in traffic, so we haven't got a lot of time to go through these settings. So yeah, yeah, that's mechanical trail scale. Pneumatic trail scale is simply the feel of the tyres as they transform as you go through a corner, and the tyres roll and pitch, and the tread might move if you're on street tyres and things like that. That's to mimic as much feeling of the tyres as possible, but again, you don't want too much, you just want to be able to feel when the tyres slip, how they're rolling and pitching underneath you, and feel the behaviour of the tyres. So pneumatic trail scale just helps you find, you know, tyre detail. So 130. Road feel scale is basically, again, it's to do with road surface, tarmac, grass, curbs and things like that. You want to be able to feel it, but when you go over a curb, you don't want that putting an input into the steering wheel. You want your inputs to be your own. So you dial that to 130 and you've got enough feel, but then you're not, like, you know, again, disrupting your steering feel. Load sensitivity, this is on 50, so this is all about, you know, the yaw feel as you basically go between left and right. So you come out of a long left-hand fast bend like in the Nordschleifer, and then you're heading down towards that right-hand hairpin, and you feel the load twitch to the right and left. You need to be able to feel that to be able to put the input in to correct it quick enough. So this load sensitivity helps you feel the yaw of the car through the steering wheel and visually through your eyes, especially if you're using cockpit view and stuff like that. So load sensitivity on 50, and it helps you feel the load transition from right to left through the steering wheel. Wheel dampening scale, so on the controller, like I showed you at the beginning of this race with the movement of the wheel, what I was demonstrating was how slow it is with the controller. So if you look at the two of them and restart the video, with the controller it's a lot slower going left to right. It's literally 2.5 seconds or so to get from left to right and back again, and with the controller, with the wheel, you can do it in like a second. So there's a lot more input with the wheel. That's why you tune rotation into a car with a controller, and you tune rotation out of a car with the wheel, because the wheel creates rotation. This dampening scale just gives you a bit of feedback. It's kind of like force feedback. It just applies a bit of resistance to the wheel as you're turning left and right and things like that. So again, that's what it does. So wheel dampening scale is the dampening effect applied to the steering wheel. So centre spring scale, this is kind of like, a lot of people have this on 0, but this is actually like almost like force feedback and load sense and wheel dampening scale. Centre spring scale tends to be the forces applied to the wheel when you're actually bringing the wheel back to centre, and again, this helps you feel and manage modularly when you feel the tyre slip and the tyre come back into the right amount of grip, like the perfect amount of grip. So again, it's all about road feel. So like I say, try these settings and please give me a thumbs up if you do like them, they do work for you. So dynamic damping behaviour, again, this is just like this again is like your tyre detail. So this is all about again, the load of the tyre, feeling the slip, feeling the grip. By having this up, you feel more dynamic behaviour with the tyre. By having it down, again, the steering can feel a bit more linear, but you want the steering wheel to feel linear, but only linear either side of tyre slip. You want to be able to feel your tyre slip, that way you know how to manage it, and you don't want to lose too much wheel stiffness when you lose your tyres. You need to be able to feel it. So like I say, try these settings, let me know how you get on. Steering sensitivity, so if you do things like, I'm going to show you in this quickly, hopefully, that when I do the settings on the tuning setting for the car, when you go into your tune and you push it off the wheel when you start the tune, put your force feedback in the car tune to 175 and put the rotational value down to 50%, and this will double the input you have on the steering wheel. So if you turn to 12 o'clock with your right hand on the steering wheel will be at 9 o'clock. If you turn to left 12 o'clock with your left hand, then your left hand on the game in the steering wheel will be at 3 o'clock. So it literally doubles the amount of input you have with the steering wheel, which is what allows you to be able to control them fast twitches on the cars and turns and knocks and bumps from other vehicles. And if you're in leagues where you're not allowed to tune the car, this is where you can, steering sensitivity will increase the rotational value as a multiplier from your input to the input you see in the vehicle in the game. So the higher you put this, the more rotation you'll get from the steering wheel in the game via your input to the steering wheel. And steering linearity, so this is like it says here, lower values provide a slow response near the centre and a fast response at full lock. This is the opposite to how you want it, but you don't want it too far because it goes into crazy town. So 55 means that you get a slightly quicker turning response from the wheel, but when you lose the back end and you closer to full lock, it means that you get a slightly slower response, so it's easier to modulate that slide or that control of the car without it kicking you into a full out, you know, see you later, wiping everybody out. So that is the settings that I have. And then I will also say that if you go to settings, if I'm on the controller, I do not have traction control on, but on the steering wheel, especially if you're going to be in multiplayer lobbies, put traction control on sport, because it's not going to be any slower. It's only going to help you if you get little bumps and scrapes and you do lose the back end in a nasty manner, because it is hard, as you can see in this test that I'm doing, to navigate cars and not lose the back end and keep it in touch. So traction control on sport will help you a great deal, so please try these settings. And then if I quickly show you, so if I go to tune the car and we put it onto the wheel, then the settings you want are probably going to be, I had it on 200 there, but probably going to be say around 175. You can go to 200 in some cars like this, and then 50% on your steering lock range. And these are the settings I want you to try on the steering wheel, and let me know. And if you have confidence like I do with it, then share it far and wide, and let's get everyone using their steering wheels for sim racing instead of drying clothing. So yeah, I'm going to be coming back at you with a tuning guide showing you how to do a bass tune and how to tune for the wheel with the car, like I say, tuning the rotation out of the vehicle in a manner rather than tuning the rotation into the vehicle. So I hope you enjoyed the challenge, hope you enjoyed the race, and I hope you will enjoy these wheel settings. Take care guys, and I'll see you in the next video.
Your instructor is one of the finest pilots this program has ever produced. His exploits are legendary. What he has to teach you may very well mean the difference between life